This channel is primarily about Google Ads for e-commerce businesses. And when you talk about PPC advertising, search engine marketing, almost everyone thinks purely about Google, of course. But in this video, I want to talk about 7 reasons you should also look into Bing Ads or Microsoft advertising if you haven't already, because it can really help your business grow. And in this video, I want to really talk about why exactly this is so important, especially if you have been relying on Google Ads a lot so far. So let's jump straight into the 7 reasons, and hopefully you will register a Microsoft advertising account yourself afterwards. The first reason is very obvious these days, and that has to do with ChatGPT. So because ChatGPT is integrated now in Bing, more and more people use it. So the number of Bing users has already increased over the last few months, and I personally think this is just going to increase. Now, while Google also does its own thing with Bard, which I haven't tested yet, and I assume this will probably keep a whole lot of people at Google, I believe that there will be quite a few more Bing users in the future than there are right now. So the amount and the reach that you have on Bing is probably just going to increase because of ChatGPT and AI. So it's probably a very good idea to already get some campaigns going there right now already and prepare everything, etc., before it will be, let's say, 50% bigger than it is right now at some point in time, or maybe even 100% bigger. No idea what will happen there. But of course, it's very safe to say that Microsoft has a lot to gain with it, and therefore they will probably work pretty hard on growing Bing as a search engine. Number 2, Bing tends to have a richer and more sophisticated audience. I assume that's because, Bing is the search engine of choice when it comes to Microsoft's Edge browser or their operating systems or whatever you have there. The people using Bing are typically richer, more educated, more sophisticated, etc. And there are statistics about that as well. And I noticed that myself when we work with clients that are selling like high-ticket products, or they're selling very sophisticated products or something like that. Bing tends to outperform Google a little bit. That's not like a day and night difference, right? It's not like on Google you will get like a 1% click-through rate, and on Bing you will get like a 4% or something, but it's actually noticeable. So the audience tends to be richer, the audience tends to be better educated, and if you have products that can benefit from that fact, then you may actually find yourself in a better position using Bing versus Google, or at least adding it to the mix, because you will be able to sell some of your products more easily. Number 3, and that should be quite obvious as well, is less competition. Everyone knows about Google, everyone uses Google, but comparably few businesses use Bing Ads. And when I look across our clients and also new people that become clients with us, almost none of them are actively using Bing Ads, or maybe they've tried it 2 years ago for a few weeks and then stopped using it. At this point, more and more of our clients are actually starting to use Bing Ads as well, and we actually tell them that it's a very good idea to at least spend something there. Yes, our ad spend on Bing is still tiny compared to Google. So we spend around $650,000 a month on Google, and maybe like $50,000, $60,000 a month on Bing. So it's actually just 10%, actually a bit less than that. But it's certainly growing. So it's a lot more than it has been 3 months ago or 6 months ago. And I think it will still continue to climb, maybe to 100K soon, 150, who knows. Yes, Google will remain bigger, that's for sure. I don't see that changing anytime soon, but Bing Ads are getting certainly more important, and also partly because right now at least you have less competition there and more people are entering all the time. So it's a wise idea to try this now. Number 4, and that's maybe a bit less obvious, is that you can test alternative account setups. So when you have a Google Ads account, of course you can run tests, and you should run tests and experiments, but you are always confined to that one account. So whenever you do something, especially something big like a new Performance Max campaign, there is some risk involved that you are not destroying the account necessarily, but that something negative happens, right? You set something new up and you launch a new campaign, and then suddenly an old one doesn't perform that well anymore, stuff like that. With Bing, essentially you have like a copy of Google, because almost everything works the same. You have shopping campaigns, you have search campaigns, you have display campaigns, match types work almost exactly the same. So it's almost like a copy of Google with some differences. This allows you to test alternative setups. So how we do that is when we have a Bing account for a Google Ads client, right, we try an alternative setup and we check if there is something that we can do on Bing that allows us to try an alternative setup. And if that works very well, then we are more confident that we should apply that to Google as well. Of course, it doesn't mean that something that works on Google works on Bing and vice versa, but it's quite powerful to be able to test a completely different approach. And if that actually turns out to be better, sort of implementing this on Google as well. So it's something like a very, very big large-scale test that you can run, and therefore it's another important point, and one more reason to actually give Bing Ads a serious try. Number 5, Bing still has smart shopping. Now that's not a huge advantage in my opinion. I mean, smart shopping just worked and I had a ton of multi-million-dollar smart shopping campaigns, but it's pretty useful and Bing still has them. I don't know for how long this will be the case, but Bing has smart shopping campaigns, and for some of our clients, they're actually pretty scalable. I still feel that the Google smart shopping campaigns have been quite a bit better in that sense, but Bing still has it, and it's quite a good campaign type if you want to scale quite fast. They don't have Performance Max, so smart shopping probably gets closest to that on Bing. I still recommend the typical setup first, which is standard shopping and search, but eventually when things are going well and when you feel like you really want to scale and you have enough data, then smart shopping on Bing might be a good choice to get your products out there, especially if they have some sort of mass appeal. Number 6 is that Bing actually has about like 8 to 10% market share, which many people often forget. Of course, Google is the undeniable number 1 in the search market by far. And if you want like the biggest volume possible, then of course you have to be on Google. But Bing, I mean, 8 to 10% is not that little, right? And in some countries it's a lot more, in some countries it's a lot less, but that's the global market share. At the moment I believe it's like 8.5 or 8.7, but I could very well imagine that this already increased in the last 2-3 months or so. So it's actually bigger than you think. Many people think no matter what you sell, you only have like 1,000 impressions per month or something, and of course it highly depends on what you sell exactly, but the moment your product has some sort of mass appeal, the moment that you sell something that is just remotely in demand, right, then Bing is an option for you. Of course, if you sell something hyper specific where even on Google there is almost no traffic for this, chances are Bing is not your best choice, because if you now take that tiny little search volume on Google and then take 10% of that, not really worth it potentially, right? But the moment you have something that has decent volume on Google, it's usually worth trying it on Bing as well. And now my last point, number 7, is that you can protect yourself and that you can reduce the risk of losing basically all your traffic or losing business when you use Bing on top of Google, because all the big platforms, Google, Facebook, Bing, whatever, right? They come with the risk of getting your account shut down. Even if you do everything in the exact way Google wants you to do it, you may still at some point get your account banned, whether temporarily, which may shut your business essentially down for a couple of days, weeks, or months, depending on how much you actually rely on Google, or even permanently, right? I've seen it all. I've seen clients lose their accounts. I've seen people I talk to lose their accounts. I've had a ton of people message me because they lost their accounts. So it happens all the time. Of course, the bigger you are and the more professionally you do it, etc., the less likely it is that it happens to you, but it does happen to quite a few people. And the moment that you have 2 platforms, or let's say 3, if you also use Facebook or Instagram or others, then of course your risk of losing business is highly reduced. Of course, if 90% of your sales come from Google and 10% come from Bing, and you lose your Google account, it's still a huge problem. But if you manage to actually build some sort of momentum on Bing, maybe it can at least somewhat negate the effect of losing the account, or let's say temporarily losing the account, right? If you lose your Google account for 3 weeks and you cannot advertise, but you can then go even harder on Bing, it may at least reduce the impact of such a catastrophe a little bit. So if you want to diversify, if you want to, have slightly less risk involved in your business, but you still want to use search engine marketing PPC, then that is absolutely the way to go. So these were 7 strong points and strong cases for using Bing ads. I highly recommend that you set an account up, and if you want, and if you need some help with that, if you have no idea sort of on how to run Bing ads campaigns, even though it's pretty close to Google, of course, feel free to go to our website cartlift.co, and we can also help you with managing and setting up and scaling your Bing ads campaigns just as we do with Google. Or if you want to learn it all by yourself, my training program, the Ecom PPC Academy, is tailored towards Google, but many of the concepts and strategies, etc., also apply to Bing. I might do like a Bing only section there as well, but right now I would say 80 to 90% of what I say there is also applicable to Bing. So I hope that one of these 2 things will make sense to you. As I said, you can find the links in the description, and you can get in touch with us, or you can check the training out if you want to do it yourself. Thanks a lot for watching this video till the end. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, please subscribe for more e-commerce, Google Ads, PPC content. And now I look forward to see you in the next video again. Bye-bye.